As you may all be aware, the Warlords of Draenor pre-patch 6.0.2 hit a little while ago, and I personally have been doing a lot of testing and trying some things out to adapt to this new playstyle. And I really have been enjoying the new changes. They took away things like Deep Freeze and Combustion Stun and a lot of other plethora of abilities and spells from Fire Mages that were a big part of our playstyle, which kind of worried me, but so far I've been having tons of fun. So in this video I just want to give you guys a good insight on what I've been doing to adapt to the changes. Keep in mind this guide is aimed towards the pre-patch 6.0.2. This is not a level 100 Fire Mage guide, this is aimed towards the level 90s. And everything I say in this video will become outdated soon once we all get to level 100. Obviously my playstyle will adapt and grow as time goes on, so expect maybe a new guide in the near future. But for now, since you guys have all been requesting a guide, and also since you guys gave me 1,000 likes on my duel video, I promise to pump this out. So yeah, let's get it started. Alright, so real quick I just want to go over my talents and glyphs so you guys can see what I'm rolling with. For the first tier I'm running Blazing Speed, which is a really good speed boost for only 1.5 seconds, but it boosts you really fast, so it's really amazing. Conversely, you could take Evanescence at tier instead, which makes you immune to all attacks against you for 3 seconds. It's only on a 45-second cooldown, and it's reset by Cold Snap, which is amazing. But unfortunately it does replace Ice Block, which I personally don't like. I feel like both Ice Block and Evanescence is viable, but this is just personal preference, and I just prefer that mobility from Blazing Speed and Ice Block. Next up, in the second tier, I like to take Ice Barrier. I think that this is really the only good absorption in this tier, so I like to roll with this. But if you want, you could take Alter Time, which is pretty good. It lasts 10 seconds now. But they did nerf the buff and proc aspect of it, so I personally don't really like it so much. Next up, in the third tier, I like to take Frost Jaw. Since they took away the silence effect from Counterspell, it's nice to have that silence in handy, just in case you're fighting healers and you want that extra CC. Conversely, you could take Ring of Frost, which is really good in big fights, so I like to switch back and forth depending on the situation. But unfortunately, Ring of Frost does DR with Polymorph, whereas Frost Jaw DRs with nothing for fire, because like I said, you have no other silences. So this is just another good extra CC tree. Next on the fourth tier is Cold Snap. This is definitely a no-brainer. This talent is much better than every other talent in this tier. Not only does it reset the cooldown of Ice Block and Frost Nova, but now it also resets the cooldown of Dragon's Breath, which is just amazing. Obviously you want to keep the DRs in mind so you don't DR Dragon's Breath when it resets, but still Cold Snap is just much better choice right here. On the next tier, it's Blast Wave. This is a ranged AoE slow, and in Mists of Pandaria I really missed having a ranged slow, so it's really nice that they're bringing this back. It's a targeted AoE, so you can use it on enemies and friendly targets. So if you use it on a friendly target, every enemy around that friendly target will become slowed, which is pretty cool as well. It's also good to have a macro setup for yourself, so you can just blast wave yourself instead of just having to target yourself. And I personally like to bind that to my Arcane Explosion bind, which I had before in Mists, so it's kind of just like an AoE around me. Same concept. Next up is Incanter's Flow, which is a passive buff put on you. It increases damage by 4% all the way up to 20% depending on how many stacks you have. It stacks all the way up to 5 times, and you gain a stack every second, and you also lose a stack every second once you hit this threshold, which is 5. So it goes up to 5 stacks, and then goes back to 1 stack, and then goes back to 5 stacks, back and forth. So right now your playstyle actually evolves around this passive buff, so you want to burst when you have 5 stacks. So it's really good to keep an eye on Incanter's Flow. Next up, for the glyphs, I like to take Polyglyph, obviously to take off debuffs when you CC, and then Ice Block Glyph to be immune to all spells for 3 seconds, and also Frost Nova everything around you after you come out of Ice Block, which is really good because Blast Wave replaces Frost Nova, so you don't have any Novas. And for the last one, I like to take Spell Steal Glyph, which heals you for 4% of your maximum health when it steals a spell. I am waiting to take the Regenerative Ice Glyph, which heals you while you sit in Ice Block, which would probably be better than Ice Block Glyph. You can only choose one or the other, but you can't obtain this glyph yet. But once you can, I will probably replace Ice Block Glyph for this one. When it comes to gemming, I'm still doing the exact same thing I was doing in Mists. I'm just going for as much intellect and crit as possible. So my gems are exactly the same and haven't changed at all. The stat priority is still int, crit, haste, and mastery. Okay, now I'm going to go over a really quick demonstration of a very basic rotation. So what you want to do is quickly grab a hot streak as soon as possible, and then once you get that hot streak, you're going to try to line it up with your Incanta's Word stacks, preferably 5 stacks, and then you're going to chuck that Pyroblast in, and then Combustion. And if you do get a lucky crit from that, you should Inferno Blast to get another hot streak. But if you don't, then spam your 2 Blast Wave stacks, which will do tons of damage with the Pyroblast Combust dot. And if they are still not dead, then you want Dragon's Breath and Hardcast a Fireball to finish them. If this video helped you out whatsoever, feel free to leave a thumbs up down below to let me know you'd like to see more guides and videos in the future. And also, I'll leave a link to my armory down below in the description so you can check out my gearing and updates in real time. Also, I just want to announce that I'll be attending BlizzCon this year, so if you're going, let me know down in the comments below because I'm curious if any of my viewers will be there. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching guys, and keep burning shit.